County Township Board of Trustees, September 7th, 2001. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming, everybody. I hear there's a storm coming.
Yep, make it quick, Artie.
Yeah. We'll survive. Let's see, I hope everyone had a great Labor Day weekend. I know let's make some room here. The art fair was great, and the turkey shoot was pretty awesome, too. The boat parade, I think they had 67 antique boats in the boat parade. And the regular parade was very good, too. So kudos to the Lions, and kudos to on Harson's Island, kudos to the art fair people. Roll call, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Here.
Joanne Shirkey.
Absent excuse.
Artie Bryson.
Yes, here.
Christy Hilton.
Here.
Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here.
All right, before we get going, I'd like to amend the agenda. We have a cleanup order for property 9093 Stone Road. I'd like to add to the agenda, it would be 1M under new business.
Support.
Got motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. So that's going to be 1M. All right, first we have a public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing for police, fire, and general operating and garbage and refuse fees.
I'll make a motion, Board, that we open up the public hearing for police, fire, general operating, garbage, and refuge fees
At 6:03.
at 6:03 PM.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to open up our public hearings. Do we have anyone like to speak on any of the proposed millages? Police is going to be at 4.85. Fire is going to be at 2.125. Our general is actually being reduced a little bit to 0.5192. And garbage and refuge is staying the same. It's $172 for
Mainland?
yeah, in mainland island, if you get recycling and
Normal
garbage.
pickup?
And 137 for Russell Island and the one out island that still has a Lug Island. And I'd like to mention how it is getting taxing on our general. The Headley amendment, which is I like it, but our general operating millage actually gets reduced as our taxable millage goes up. And it only applies to our general millage rate. That's why we're going from 0.528 to 0.519 this year. And we are by far the lowest in the county, probably by a quarter mil. So we're sooner or later, because our general, our revenue's staying flat as costs are going up or dropping in some cases. So, I'm for keeping taxes low as possible, but a lot of people like nice roads to drive on and other things that we provide under the general, so we'll have to come to that question at some point. Any public comments or on any of this stuff? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for police, fire, general operating, garbage, and refuse fees at 6:06 PM.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have, I'm sorry, man, allergies. Anyone getting allergies, itchy eyes and stuff?
Yes. Awful.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, bills payable. Stay focused, Artie. I'll entertain a motion.
Board, I'll make a motion that we support and approve the bills payable in the amount of $83,354.81.
Support. All right, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Artie Bryson,
Yes.
Kristi Hilton,
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes. All right, motion passes. All right, the supervisor's report. We did submit a counter proposal to the MAF union, and we haven't heard, and I think we gave them to the 10th to reply, so hopefully that will go to, we'll put that to bed and get behind us. If you've been under a rock or you're gone, we had a pretty bad storm here, what was it, about a week and a half ago now? And I gotta tell you, I gotta give a lot of kudos out. We had some very wide electrical outages in the whole township. And when I was driving around that morning, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's gonna be 3-4 days at least. And 95% of the people were back on within 24 hours. But I want to give kudos out to, most of it was from tree damages, from fallen trees, and not only power outages, there was a lot of homes and other things that got damaged, as garages, RVs I seen smashed, and other things. It was pretty substantial. But want to give kudos to DTE and their subcontractors, St. Clair County Road Commission, the Water Department, and our Fire Department. The Road Commission that night was out till 3 a.m. trying to clear the roads. And then they were back again at 7 a.m. to, finish the job. And I saw them around for 2 days after that, cleaning up a lot of the mess. There's still a little bit out there, but it was pretty impressive. DTE showed up with at least a dozen crews. And when they were saying, oh, we're gonna have 95% on in 24 hours, I'm like, no way, but they did. And what was really nice this time, they were in constant communication with me and other people in our township. Called them up, and the same day the storm happened, they set up a convenience trailer and lumberjacks for 2 days, where they're giving out flashlights, batteries, phone chargers hooked up to batteries, water and ice and ice cream. That's what I like. That was Klondike bars. They were pretty good. And I just actually, last week, it's old news now, but DTE, they're spending an additional $70 million. They're accelerating their tree trimming process or program to improve the electric liability in our area. But I think they responded very well, and kudos to them. The water department, they had big time challenges. We had, how many pump stations were out of power, John? 10. We had 10 pump stations out of power. And so what they had to do, they had to get generators and rotate them all to pump them all down, keep them going, and I mean, it was tough. I don't think, John said, we've never had that many out at one time before.
Wow.
And kudos to those guys. I mean, it was a definite challenge for them. Our fire department, they did a lot of help in cleaning the roads. And the Elginak Lions, you know, they called me, they said they're gonna open up for a cooling station. Then I remember they got a big ice machine in there, and the first day DTE showed up, they didn't have any ice. They said that there's an ice shortage actually, when it was so hot, they'd buy it in Taylor from a warehouse, they're out. So I asked the Elginak Lions if they would hand out free ice, and of course they said, yeah, sure, no problem, point people to us. So that was great for them too. And also we had the Clay Township library and here set up as a cooling area too if needed, because it was hot out. So it all worked out well. Working on our final stages of the $1.1 million SAW grant. And we've been doing, about a week and a half ago, did a lot of work on our MERS study to bond out the MERS liability. And I'm hoping we'll have something for the next board. If not, it will be the following one. Dealing with liability and blight issues as always. Hooray, the Flamingo Bridge is done. And before the deadline that they promised us, I think it looks good. I don't know, you go across it a lot.
That's nice.
It's, yeah, they did a good job. The intersection, the Fruit Road stop signs at Nook now have the flashing red lights. They're installed, and along with extra signage, so hopefully that will make that intersection a lot safer. We can only hope and pray. Our wastewater treatment plant is now testing for COVID twice a week. So I don't quite understand it, but they take samples and they test we send it out. They test for COVID. They look at our population, our flow rates, a couple other things, and they have some wacky formula that says we estimate that 35 people have COVID in your area. So how they tell who is it different? I don't know how they do the tracing. Got any ideas, Chris?
None.
So that's a program that is going on. Anything else will be too much information. Working on our bicentennial celebration. I gotta say, a lot of people are coming up big for this. I spent some time in the museum there. Man, they are so organized there. It's gonna make this job a lot easier, or I should say the process. Excuse me, we were talking about a time capsule. I was looking at them online and stuff, but Gilbert's just, I don't know, end of last week, they called me up. He said, hey, Artie, we're gonna donate a time capsule for you. I said, what's that? He goes, a vault for a casket. It's lined with plastic. It's definitely watertight. Excuse me. And they did one similar in 1976 in New Baltimore for the bicentennial of the country there. And they actually, it was cool. They actually let everybody come and throw something in that wanted to. And I was talking to a gentleman, a friend, that said he remembers it, and he threw in some pictures. They tell you put the family name on it. He threw in some pictures when he was a little boy. And he said his grandson is going to be 63 when they open it up. Huh. And so he told his grandson, you got to be there. So I mean, I think that's cool.
That is neat.
So that's all going very well. And something that's super cool, found out the U.S. Post Office is dedicating a stamp. They're doing a stamp collection for the Great Lakes, or it's Lighthouses of Michigan. And I know they did, years ago, they did one of the Twin Sisters, and that's really not in Clay Township. But we received news that they're going to, they selected the Colony Tower to be as a stamp. Technically, it's a water tower. We won't tell anybody. But it was actually a lighthouse for the Coast Guard recognized it as a lighthouse too. And we're going to be doing a dedication September 21st at 10 a.m. And I just found out, actually yesterday, Phillips Signs, our friend Ed Phillips, is donating a 40-foot high banner we're going to hang from the tower, talking about the stamp and doing that. I got to get with him and design them. I'm trying to get artwork of the new stamp he can put on it. So that's way cool for Phillips Signs and Ed to do that for us. It's all coming together, this stuff. It's fun. Clay Township's fall cleanup is October 2nd on the mainland, Saturday, first Saturday in October. And on the island, it's October 2nd and 3rd. On the island, it is behind the water station, and on the mainland, it's behind the water station on Muskrat Run. And on the islands at Brownsfield, like it always is. Okay, Harson's Island Nature Park. We've got all the paperwork submitted and studies done, and we're waiting on the eagle permit. We're trying to get a grant for a birding platform, is called, as opposed to a Outlook platform. And they wanted some sort of a design, so we preliminary gave one for them to look at. I put a picture on it, although they have to have a place for handicapped people too to get the grant, which is I'm all about anyhow. So we're gonna have a second lower level on there that will accommodate wheelchairs. And we've been playing around with that this past week and trying to get that updated. The future county beach park. Everyone always asks me, what's going on with it? They have selected, the county Parks and Rec has selected a design team. They told me I didn't recognize the name of the team, but I know they used this team before on their other parks. And we're expecting an October closing on the property from the DNR Trust Fund grant. And so once that's done, they can put shovels to the ground. So that's going to hopefully be ramping up here pretty soon. Also, the county is going forward on their study on the 26 Mile Road corridor to see if what's taken as far as infrastructure, what has to be improved and everything to hopefully entice some light industrial and commercial businesses there. You know, it's all about jobs on that. And they're put a RFQ out for people to do the study. And actually they select our own planner that we just hired to be on the small selection committee. I talked to him, so far they got Wage Trim, OHM, and a few others bidding on it, but just the study is, they're probably gonna spend about 120 grand on this study. It's gonna be pretty entailed. And our 6th annual Scarecrow Festival, Saturday, October 30th, noon to 4, mark your calendars. And we do have all kinds of fun activities planned for that, and sponsorships are available. Whew, that was a long one, but we got through it.
Where's that gonna be?
At the park here next door.
Okay.
I'm sorry for coughing. Okay, any public comments? Do we have any public comments? Come on up and state your name and address and.
Diane Miller, 7311 B Lane. I noticed in the last board meeting that there were 2 roads, Bayview Shores and Riverside, that you were gonna get this 50-50 split to get culverts done. So naturally, where is Steyer Road on getting their culverts put in?
Yeah, that program is for a large culvert replacement.
I
And
understand.
that, Steyer Road wouldn't solve for that.
The reason why I'm asking is because the last time we talked about it, you had said that they couldn't do anything because of the high water.
Right.
So now, we've got some scheduling going on for Bayview Shores and for
This is-
Riverside, but what about us?
that's
Are we
2,
gonna
3
get scheduled?
That's 2 or 3 years down the road.
I get that, but
Okay.
we wanna get on the schedule too.
I actually talked to the road supervisor about 2, 3 weeks about that, and told him, put it on the radar and check it out. And he seems to think that they're there.
Well,
And
then he can come and dump some dye in there and see that it's
Well, that's
not
what-
coming out the other
That's what I
end.
told him, well, he needs to clean them out then. So that's where we're at with that. And I'll call him again tomorrow.
Because all the debris goes right down to that end,
Yep.
all the high water level, prevailing southwest winds,
Mm-hmm.
all went down to that end, flooded those properties at that end that it could have released and gone under the road. And right now, the amount of stuff that's on top of the water right now that's not able to flow through and circulate, it's going back 2 houses now.
Okay.
Because the culverts are not there. And, as far as, we paid for those over, 25 years ago now? And, I know I've been talking about it for a couple of years now, and high water has put a damper on it, but I just want to get on the schedule.
Yep. Oh, I hear you.
I mean, we got 2 other roads for replacement culverts. Well, we've been waiting over 25 years for ours.
Well, like I said, he says they're there, but
Okay.
I've challenged him to show me, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen them yet
Yeah,
myself.
well, I agree. I'm from the Show Me State too.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yep.
I hate to run, but I'm gonna dip out. I have unexpected company from out of town.
You should have brought him.
No, they wanna drink beer at the raft.
Well, we'll be there after.
There you go.
All right, thanks for coming. Any other public comments? Hearing none, moving right along to the consent agenda. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the meeting minutes from August 16th, 2021, and the check reports.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion or anything? Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next, we have our world-famous George Rose, our fire chief, for his report.
Somebody left their lunch up here. Good evening. Chief's report for August 2021. During the month of August, I attended 2 meetings. One was the St. Clair County Chiefs Association, and the other was with the Coast Guard and other agencies involved with the Raft Off 2001 event. Engine 2 is in service. All the equipment's been mounted on it. I did put in my report, we didn't have our positive pressure fan when I submitted this. We did get the positive pressure fan. That is mounted on the truck. We just don't have the chainsaw, and that we're waiting for that. I would like to thank Captain Hubert and firefighter Steve Sherrard for their work on mounting all the equipment on the truck. They worked very hard at it, and it looks very professional. They did an excellent job on it. The other truck should be done, we're hoping, by the end of this week, and then that one will be placed on the island. I attended the St. Clair Flats Historical Society anniversary celebration for the fire station over there. The theme was new fire truck and old fire truck. We did have the new fire truck over there on a static display for the residents to go through, and we did receive a lot of compliments on the new truck. They really, really do like the truck. We responded to 9 medicals for Raft Off 2021 this year, and they say it was probably the largest raft off in probably the history of it. They're looking at 7,000 to 9,000 boats that participated in it. I did put some photos in there. Those were taken about 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the Coast Guard helicopter.
got bigger.
And it got bigger. So I just wanted to give you a kind of an idea what we had out there. I would like to thank the men and women of our department that participated in that for their hard work, and also dispatch for receiving and dispatching the calls for us.
Job well done.
What's that?
Job well done.
Yep, thank you. I also would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Engel, and Mr. and Mrs. Bryson for their assistance with their property and their equipment. Made our jobs a lot easier. We had a staging area for medical staging on the mainland. We had the command posts, which the Smiths have a outer island out there that they opened their home to us, which was great. And then Mr. Bryson gave us their barge for the weekend, which made easy docking on and off to get off the island.
She makes great food for us. out
And
there.
she made, yes, she did. Yes, she did. We also assisted the Coast Guard on a training exercise on the north end of Russell Island and Crispin Drain on Harson's Island with deployment of booms. They did a simulation of a fuel spill. So we helped them out with that. So,
I want to point out the fire department has been very busy. If you look at their total calls this month, 175
Yep.
in 1 month.
yep.
That's a busy fire department.
Yes.
So, good job, chief.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for chief?
Oh, there's also a couple pictures of the old fire truck. The company or the fire department that bought it from us in
Yeah. West Virginia?
Indiana.
Indiana.
They painted it lime green and white, so I thought I'd throw that in there for you guys to take a look at.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't. We're happy with our colors,
That's right.
so,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, chief. Okay, we don't have any unfinished business, so new business. First thing for consideration is the an ordinance that we received from the Planning Commission, a amendment to the ordinance for open water fences. I see Gary's back here too, our building inspector. If anyone have any questions? So I'll open up for discussion. I mean, I'll cut to the chase. I don't know.
Well, I'd just like to say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this has been before the planning commission on several different occasions with public hearings. I think we had 2 of them anyways, and Gary and the other planner that previous planner was involved with it all, trying to gel it all together and make sense on exactly what we want to do with the open water and fencing regulations. I think Gary was instrumental in putting some of this together. I think it's very similar to what another county here close by does, or not county, but Township. And so basically it pretty much solves everybody's problems with it, hopefully.
I mean, I read this and I really haven't had much of a chance to talk to Gary about it either. But if I go down to, on the second page, section 3A, the proposed, any fence within the unobstructed yard space, in other words, close 40 feet from the seawall back, any fence within an unobstructed yard space on an open waterfront lot as defined by this ordinance for either residential or non-residential use shall require a special land use permit. or approval from the planning commission. And then it goes on further to say the planning commission shall review the proposal in relation to the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance, master plan policies, and potential impact on abutting properties and the neighborhood in general. I don't know myself, but we're talking about a fence, and to have to make them go to the planning commission for a special land use,
Well,
which,
it's not for the entire township. It's strictly for
Right.
the open water areas.
Right.
Where you don't have fences anyway. So I foresee if it's one or two maybe, that'll be about it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a very low volume that comes before the planning commission.
okay.
But
But
correct me if I'm wrong, there's no guidelines that are set out in this ordinance over what conditions they would approve or not approve, correct?
For the planning commission?
Yes.
Well, it says, the intent of the zoning, they have to look at the spirit of the intent of the zoning ordinance, master plan policies and potential impact on abutting properties and then neighborhoods in general. So, I mean, I'll just, so I'm pretending I'm on the planning commission. We'll probably pass it if no one comes and complains, but if 5 people come and complain, we're not gonna pass it.
Right, that's my concern, because there's not any
And
set guidelines.
ordinances shouldn't be, in my mind, it should be cut and dry. Either you can do it or you can't. Either you can run the stop sign or you can't run the stop sign.
That's not, you're not comparing oranges to oranges.
Well-
That's completely different. That's a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
And to hit a contrived situation on any of this stuff here is gonna be hard to even define. So, we did what we thought was best.
Right.
I think it's something that we should pass and get in place on open water and then see how it pans out down the road.
Is it,
And I don't think it's gonna be, you know,
we probably get 5 a year,
if that.
but,
I mean,
As
They
properties
still
sell.
can have a fence within the qualified rear yard setbacks. They can still have a fence.
Right.
It's just not gonna go out to the water. So if you wanna capture their dog or whatever, they can put a fence up, but it can't go in that 40-yard yard space.
but if their yard space is only 40 yards deep,
Well, then that may come to the.
They have to come to the planning commission.
And make an exception on that.
see,
Whatever the case may be.
how, this was a while ago, Clay Township said, you can't have any fences on the water, canals, nothing. And, for a long time. And what happened, the Supreme Court, came down with a ruling. It was a township on an inland lake, actually, up north somewhere, had the same rules. Someone came to them and said, you know, I have young kids, they don't know how to swim, I need to protect them, my property, I want to put a fence up. They denied him. Well, it was a sad situation, unfortunately, one of their kids drowned. They ended up suing the township, and the township was held partly responsible. Not 100% negligent, but partly negligence. And I'm not a fan of fences myself, I really am not. But property rights, I think people should have the right to protect their own property. And maybe taking it to the planning commission, I know there's a lot of different situations in our township. Gary, you wanna come up and put your 2 cents in? It's okay, you can disagree with me.
I don't like fences either. But, yeah, an overview of this just affects the open water fences, and that's the water, that's open to Lake St. Clair and to the channels.
Anchor Bay Drive, the lake.
Correct. And just so that you know, I mean, we do have like 3 pending right now
Right.
On the books, waiting to see what happens here on how we react to it. It's a workable situation. The fence ordinance was not broke. Does this fix it? I guess in a certain way. if we're concerned about those fences on open water. It does just affect the required setbacks, not anything inland. And most of the properties on the big water are in fact bigger lots. Where we have a lot of fences are on our canal lots. And, you know, that's all working just fine. Everyone expects to have a fence because they're basically all in required yard space. If you did decide to approve this, and it goes to the planning commission, the only thing that I'd like to see this board kind of look at is the cost, the fees associated with going to the planning commission for a special land use. That can be upwards of $600 for someone wanting a fence. And that's not even close to being right.
Yeah, I'll interject in that. The old planner, they used to charge $650 to review for a special land use, which, yeah, no. So I did contact our new planner, Steve. Wow, where'd that come from?
My foot kicked
Oh, okay,
the old trustee's hearing device.
okay, no problem. So I talked to Steve, I go, Steve, if this goes through, can we adjust that? And in his schedule, I saw where he does reviews for signs, I think it was $75. And he said that he would reduce his costs to $75. So if it does pass, I would recommend our board say, okay, it'll be a $200 fee. I think we talked about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's more in line with maybe the ZBA and
Right.
what's charged there.
Yeah, so, you know, they can go to the planning commission, and it pays for the review and pays for inspection. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's,
Or was that it?
yeah.
Okay.
So what makes the planning commission as a whole more qualified to approve their special land use versus just having our building inspector who approves everything else? Who would be more than willing to go out and look, trying to get 9 planning commission members to go out and physically look and see what their special, unique situation is, why they want it that way. I don't understand why a whole planning commission needs to do this, and we have to make them wait for another month for a planning commission meeting. If we can get them scheduled, they gotta pay more. And there's no set, yep, if you do this or you have this, it's approved. If you don't, it's not approved. It's just kinda, like you said, who shows up at the meeting to complain? I don't think that's right.
It only affects just so few properties. Is it really needed? An ordinance? I mean,
Well, it's a hot topic when someone wants to put a fence up on the water. Yeah, I will say that, and Gary will probably,
You know, the current ordinance does allow for the building inspector that he may approve those fences in that location. So, yeah, they basically just wanted to take that out of my control and make it more up to the public. You know, I've got a couple that are pending, like I had said earlier. How I'm treating those right now, because we're on the interim and it does say that I may approve it. Right now, I've elected not to approve those fences unless we get approval from neighbors on either side of that property. And if they're okay with it, I'm gonna be okay with it till this board decides where we're gonna go with the ordinance. But I have one pending also that they don't get along with one of the neighbors, so they're not gonna get that signature. So you know, either I'm gonna make someone extremely mad by approving it, or, you know, it needs to go to a board where they can then decide and perhaps have the public comment on it.
it puts Gary in a tough spot when you say may, you know? I think if they meet the following conditions, either it should be shall or shall not.
I agree with that.
Don't you think he's put in a tough position right now?
That's what I mean by may, yeah.
but then if we,
Gary, do you support what's in front of us? Do you support this?
Not entirely. Like I said, I didn't think that the fence ordinance was broke, but I understand. I understand the concerns of the few residents that we had and spoke out on it, that they didn't want a fence there, and by our ordinance, it did allow a fence to be, you know, all the way out to the water's edge. So I understand that side of it too. And yes, it does put me in a bad situation, because it's only going to affect a few properties. And it's basically those open water properties. We don't see anything like this on any of the other properties, the canal properties. It's just, that's the way it is, because all they have is, they build their houses right back to the setbacks. So if they want to contain their dogs or their kids or whatever, put some security on their properties, then fences are allowed there. Most likely they're decorative or vinyl coated fences that look nice.
Yeah, we control the fences. They have to be, 75 or 80% opaque?
75,
They can only
yeah.
be 4 foot high.
Right.
So you're not limiting the view so much.
But in answer to your question, Chris, it does help in that respect of taking maybe some pressure off by saying, okay, let the board decide, or maybe the outcry of the residents to either side. But that's all that it does at this point. Everything else works wonderfully, and I think it works well.
So when I read this, perhaps I'm under the wrong impression, but I'm just going to speak my mind. It appears to me like when somebody comes forward with a fence issue, and it's that important to them, that this language in here gives them the opportunity to voice their concerns in front of a complete planning board in which we're going to have a majority or we're not. So what I mean by that is I support the fact that our resources, our land here in Clay Township is probably one of the most valuable resources we have as a township.
Yep.
And they're all different. Some people have 40-foot lots, some people have 400-foot lots. Everyone is different. So in my mind, I see this as treating each one individually on a case-by-case basis. And I would support that under those set of circumstances. And if I'm reading this ordinance, this is what I'm getting out of it. So I don't know if the other board members are seeing something that I'm not, but I like the opportunity to somebody to express why they should have a fence, and for a board other than ours to review and hear those concerns.
Well, I think you know my thoughts on that, Chris.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay,
Mark?
thank you.
I understand what you're saying too. It's, I'm concerned a little bit. What if we let this guy put a fence up for one reason?
Uh-huh.
And down here, there's another guy that wants to put a fence up, and we tell him no. Are we making ourselves, under the same ordinance, are we subjected to a lawsuit there?
Because the planning commission is making their decision based on whether the neighbors
Well, they
dispute it or not, which you just said might be because they don't get along. Well, they might need a fence because they don't get along. I mean, sometimes the fence might diffuse a situation. I mean, so
Well, I
if
can
nobody
only tell
comes
you-
and complains, then it passes. Is that what you're saying? And if someone does come and complain,
I don't
then
know.
it doesn't pass.
They're
Could they still pass it if people complain?
They could, but they're supposed to look at the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance, which I'm good with that. Master plan policies, I don't know what would play into that too much. It's residential, or it's, M1, M3, or RM, or R1, R3. And the potential impact on abutting properties and the neighborhood in general, so.
Well, a lot of the concerns with the neighbors and the general public was the value of the property with fencing on the water. So if someone goes in to buy a home and the next door neighbor has fencing, they feel that that property is going to be devalued, okay? So that's a one concern. Some of the other concerns is obviously the view, okay? And looking at a fence and through that, but we do have ordinances in place for the type of fence to use if in fact we do allow a fence to be placed in that yard
Right.
space. So, as a member of the planning commission, my feeling on that, if something comes before the board, in order to put up a fence, apart from this ordinance, it would have to be a situation that would allow that. Not just because they got a dog, okay? Or they want to park whatever else out back there, so.
Okay, so
And if
you're-
they have minor children's, they can do what I did. They can put, when I lived on the water, they can put a fence, 10 feet out from their house and enclose it as a play area. And that's what I did.
right,
If they have a large enough property. I mean, some of the houses on Anchor Bay Drive that are on the lakeside do not have that much property behind them.
That's correct.
Well, most of those fences are temporary anyways, if you're gonna do that to shelter or protect the child. And if you put a small enclosure, so.
Does a fence devalue property on an assessment level, Sherry?
I would say generally not.
she says no for the record.
Again, depending on where the fence is, if you take the general suburb, where there's no water and everything, you got fencing, that fence is probably going to elevate the property.
Right,
But on the water side, and if you ask anybody on the water, it'll devaluate that property. Whether it does or not is another story.
so you're saying if I wanna put a fence on the water, because I can let my dogs out, and I don't want them going to the neighbor's yard and biting them, that's not a good reason for a fence?
Well, first of all, they shouldn't have a vicious dog in their
Well-
possession and running loose, and I'll ask Mike to
Well,
give
it
me.
wouldn't be running loose if they had a fence.
Fence,
But
right.
If they don't have a fence, then it might have the potential to run
Well,
loose.
they shouldn't let their dog out alone. I don't let my
Yeah.
dog,
You could have a dog run instead of a fence.
yeah, dog run, there you go.
Or
That's the same thing as a kid run.
a leash, long leash.
Someone wanna make a motion?
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the, let me find it here. Make a motion to approve the zoning text amendment, 126-42, open water fences, with resolution 2021-32.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion, does anybody have? Roll call?
Artie Bryson.
I'm really torn on this. I see everybody's point, and fences are hard. They are hard. You wouldn't think so, they shouldn't be, but they are. I would just like to see the language cleared up a little bit better before, as to what criteria has to be met before the planning commission says, okay, I want to put this fence up, or we're going to let them put this fence up or not. So, I'm going to vote no.
Christy Hilton.
No.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, no. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
No,
Okay, it fails. All right, we'll, does everybody that, would you guys vote yes if we had a better, criteria for approving a fence?
I would like to see a criteria of, yes, if you meet these, then yes, you have a fence. If you do not meet these, then no, you don't get a
Right,
fence.
take the judgment call.
Exactly.
right, that's how I feel
I
too.
mean, you're talking about personal property rights. They
Yeah.
bought that property, they own that property, they're trying to secure their family, their pets, their home. So I would like to just see it be more of a black and white of, yes, you can, or no, you can't, if you're gonna try and restrict it. And the reasoning, that's all.
And if I could interject,
Yes.
if that criteria could be developed and then just turned back over to me.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
And say, if you meet it, you can have the fence, if you don't, you can't.
That- that-
And if they can come up with that type of plan, then maybe we don't have to involve everybody, and then at least I have a clear vision as far as what,
Basically give you the criteria and say, okay, if they meet this criteria, you shall issue a permit. And if they don't,
just
they
a thought.
don't.
We don't
But,
need an
but
ordinance.
but like Chris's point too, I see that we have a lot of unique properties. And if that could be, and they can always go to the ZBA, right?
Yeah, it's an ordinance, so it could go to ZBA.
If Gary
for-
says, you know, they don't pass the criteria, they can go to the ZBA and say, hey, we want this fence, we want a variance, and this is why. So,
Yeah,
all right, that's why we have board meetings. We don't always agree, that's okay. That's okay. All right, thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, moving along, resolution for zoning ordinance amendment on our map. This is for property that is it Marsh there?
Stone Road.
Or Stone Road, yeah.
Stone.
Yeah, this is so he can do basically what he's been doing for a while.
Yeah, that is just, well, we approved that. He came to the planning commission for a, with a site plan, we approved that.
Right.
And now he wants to take it from C2 to C3, which is a little more maintenance involved. The planner doesn't have a problem with it. It's south, just south of Sam's Market, and that's been, you know, commercial in one way or another for years, as far as I know, and they probably done something more than C3 at one point in time, so, yeah, we didn't have a problem with it, and we think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think it was probably light industrial for a while.
Yeah, absolutely, they're making fiberglass boats.
Yeah. Jim Falls, back in the day. Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the zoning ordinance amendment, 126-44, the map amendment, and resolution, resolution 2021-37.
I will support that. Any discussion?
Does it affect other parcels in the nearby area? Or is it specific to a singular parcel?
I think,
I see a parcel ID listed, so that means we're talking about a singular parcel here?
There's other parcels across the road which are commercial. Sam's is commercial.
yes, next to the party store, there's actually a foundry across the road.
Right.
Yep.
And I think on the other side, isn't it the Catholic Church, which will probably, Cindy?
According to the guidelines, the property owner is responsible to give the zoning for the surrounding area. So it's sometimes misleading, but it is one parcel.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So it's one parcel around it, which if our cemetery fills up, we'll probably be trying to access that into another cemetery. So I don't think those residents will mind.
No, right now, all the land is vacant behind it.
Right.
Not
So-
affecting anyone. Okay.
So I'm good with it myself.
It's really no more than what he's doing now.
Right. Well, you gotta look at what they could do.
Yeah,
But See,
I did generate that question, and they said they don't have any plans for it, but
well,
it's still allowed.
I mean,
It's a small place to begin with, so I don't know what all they can do.
right, C3, you know, you can do restaurants, you can do a whole plethora of stuff, but the size of that is limited. And you got C3 right next to it too, already, so that's why I don't have a problem with it. Any more discussion or pondering?
You'll have to forgive my ignorance, but are there different tax obligations and liabilities that come with rezoning?
Well, it's C2 now. So
Unless they built something, that would change it, but just in general, it won't change it.
so there'll be no change as far as tax liability specifically.
Well, it says he wants to do marine services,
Yep.
so right now he's just doing storage, so.
We are a boating community.
Right? We need more marine services. Never anyone to fix your boat, right?
Well, all the marine services are busy. They-
Right.
You know, basically, he wants to clean boats, detail boats, stuff like that inside.
Right. Seems good.
Yeah, maybe do a little brokering, I think.
Yeah.
I talked to him about it.
Yep, possible, yeah. You already did one, so.
Yeah. Any more discussion? Roll call?
Christy Hilton,
Yes.
Chris O'Regan,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes,
Artie Bryson.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, next we have to, all right, we should appoint an assistant FOIA co-coordinator. And we hear that through the grapevine, Lieutenant Stephen Stockwell would like to be that person. Chief, you holding a gun to his head?
I'll make a motion to appoint Assistant FOIA Coordinator to Lieutenant Stockwell.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Hearing none, we're not gonna talk to Steve, we'll ask him what he's doing. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Congratulations there, Steve. Good resume material. Not that you'll need one. Next, I was actually kind of happy, got a call from Jack Schmidt, Berman Flowers, who's been our healthcare guy, a pretty good guy at that. He says, hey, if you remember, we renewed Blue Cross Blue Shield last year with actually just a smidge decrease. It actually went down, which, I mean, almost gave me a heart attack. And he said this year that it's a 2.1% increase, which is the lowest that he's seen from all of his clients. And this is really one of the, probably the large, besides labor, and maybe our pension is the largest expense we have. And I budgeted for about a 6% increase in the budget, and they're coming in at 2.13. And he says, you know, Artie, I'll shop it if you want, but I cannot see us beating this anywhere else, so. I said, I'll put it to the board and let them decide. Cindy, do you want, you deal with this a lot.
No, I think it's great. I mean, it wasn't, 2-3 years ago, we were budgeting for 18% increases for healthcare benefits, so I'm absolutely pleased. And the nice thing is that, our employees have been on the same plan for years. Last thing you want to do is change their plan every year, especially when they're in the middle of ongoing Medical things, so I actually have no problem. I expected it to come in way higher, so.
Yep.
With that being said, Board, I'll make a motion to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal in the amount of $674, $689, which equates to a 2.13% increase.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Kristi Hilton.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving right along, we have the MAA Fall Education Program. Our assessor, Sherry Lawton, would like to attend, asking for the board's permission. And it's at Treetops. How did you get one there?
Treetops.
Oh, that sure beats Frankenmuth.
Jeez.
I'll make a motion for our assessor to attend the fall MAA conference for $520 plus taxes, line 101-257-960.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I get so tired of that chicken in Frankenmuth.
Love Frankenmuth. I love it.
And all our training is there.
Already just eat more noodles.
Yeah, right. And their stuffing. I'm not a fan, even a fan of their stuffing. All right, I'll be quiet. Okay, cemetery, we have, a quote, we talked about this at the budget, and we actually, budgeted for this. We're running out of holes, cubby holes, and we need a new columbarium. If we don't, we'll probably be full by the end of this year, hopefully not. You know, you don't like to see people needing these services, but, and we kind of guessed at that time it would be about $35,000 for the columbarium. I budgeted 40 because we're gonna have to do a cement slab for this to sit on too, which we'll do that in-house. But John, got a quote for this, two-sided 80 niche columbarium for $32,000. And we wanna be able to put it in this fall.
Just out of curiosity, what's the square footage of that?
I'm not sure, Mark. It's exactly the same as the two that are currently there.
So does it include the
Like-
base, so it's 8,000 less than what we originally budgeted?
No, we'll
No,
pour
we'll
the
have to do
base,
that.
which,
The footing and base, we'll dig them for ourselves.
so, I don't know, a couple, $3,000 of
Will
cement.
still be coming in less?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks nice.
So I was just curious on the square footage, you know, because it's, in a true sense, it's really a, one of those small home type of deals.
Yeah. Tiny houses.
Tiny homes, yeah.
Board, I'd like to make a motion to approve the two-sided 80-niche columbarium in the amount of $32,000 coming from line item 209970, purchasing from Jones Monument Company.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Nope, we gotta do roll call. I'm sorry. Roll call.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Kristi Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, next we have to approve our bond payment for our water bond, and we're getting
So close.
down
Home
to the
stretch.
end of this. So, I don't have that piece of, oh, here it is. So the total payment is, and this is all in the budget, is $465,931.25. Interest is $10,931.25, and the principal is $455,000.
Is that your motion, sir?
That is a motion. And if we don't pass it, Chrissy will have to go to jail.
Oh, no, support.
So we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Krista Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
All right, Chrissy, you don't have to go to jail.
That was a close one.
All right, first, we have Resolution 2021-33, Special Assessment for Clay Township Police. We had our public hearing, and now we can act. I will entertain a motion if someone so chooses to.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-33, the special assessment for the Clay Township Police, setting the police mills at 4.8.
5.
4.85.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion?
Can you recap the special assessment, please?
For the police?
This is special assessment. We capture money and it goes
Police
right
operating.
for police operating. Can't be spent on anything else.
Okay, that's what everybody wants to know.
Yep, it can't be spent. It's called, oh gosh. We can't take money from this and spend it on anything else other than police.
Restricted funds.
Restricted funds, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
As
It
we
just
have-
increased slightly, right?
Yeah, we have restricted and unrestricted funds. These are all these are, well, except for general, is restricted. So, yes, and last thing we want to do, at least last thing I want to do is defund our police,
Right.
so. Okay, we have motion and support, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, anything else? Roll call, please.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Krista Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we have a special assessment for Clay Township Fire, and that's staying the same at 2.125 mils.
Board, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-34, the resolution for special assessment Clay Township Fire District. That mill is set at 2.125 mils.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Krista Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next is our general operating millage, which actually decreased some, and it is set at .5192 mils, just over a half a mil.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021-35 resolution to set the operating general mills for the general operating millage.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support, and that was at .5192 mils. Everyone's clear? Any discussion?
Just a good point, it actually went down a little bit. right?
Yes, yeah, it went down by a tenth, actually, or.
It was .528, you said, so
Yeah.
it went down to .519.
Yep,
Thank you.
she got slashed. All right. Roll call.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Krista Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 2021-36 for garbage. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-36, the curbside garbage and refuse and recycling collection, the 2021 special assessment levy. Whereas we will charge $172 per calendar year per dwelling unit, excluding the out-island parcels, of which Russell Island and Lug Island will be assessed $137.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? This is staying the same because, you know, we went out and did a lot of shopping and talking and negotiating and then some more negotiating. And we got actually a reduction on our garbage contract.
It's an assessment.
I think it was 10%, and it's gonna stay flat for 3 years. So this charge will probably stay the same for a couple more years past this. So, just wanna bring that up. That was good work on the board, so. Roll call.
Crystal Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christie Hilton.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next, we have our DPW, our meter purchase. We started a program a year and a half ago, John?
Yes.
Put new meters, water meters, township-wide. They're electronics, so we don't actually have to go and look into the hole and read the meter to get a reading. And this is year 2 of it, and it's a budgeted item. And he wants to buy them, so we can start putting those new meters in the holes.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual meter purchase year 2 of 4 for $294,840 out of line item 591-971.
Support.
Got motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christie Hilton.
Yes.
Crystal Regan.
Yes.
Okay, now the last thing is 1.m or 1M, which we amended. It's a cleanup order on property 9093 Stone Road. I gave you a copy of the letter from our attorney. And I have an email with the price. It's gonna be a little less because they did remove some, but I would probably look for a motion and say not to exceed $5,100, because that's the price that we received to clean up the property. It should be less than that. We took this, the owner of this property to court, it's gotta be 5 years ago, and got a judgment. It was blight. They were supposed to clean it up, and we had to go get a court order and do it, and the court order, basically, if I remember right, allowed it, they had to put up a fence and keep the stuff behind the fence. And, anyhow, they did comply with that court order. This person's brother, we had a court order to clean up his property, if you remember, the property on Field Road. That was blighted for some time. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff ended up on this property. So, I know our zoning code enforcement been working with them for a year, trying to get it resolved, couldn't, so we went back to court, got a judgment against them, and basically the judge said the property had to be cleaned up by August 14th. And he failed. I wasn't out there today, but you were, weren't you, Cindy, today?
I did go there today, yes. Some of it is cleaned up, but there's still a lot there. But to be clear, this is a court order, and the board is just approving the expenditure,
Yes.
and it will be placed on his tax rolls, so we will receive that money back. So we're just approving the expenditure for the order issued by the court.
Yep.
Is there a line item for it?
Yeah, we have it in there. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head. I would put it in there with dangerous buildings. It's cleanup.
So I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure for the court order concerning, in stated letter, line item TBD.
Support.
9093 Stone Road.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any more discussion? The only thing I like to say is, I wish this, I mean, we send letters, we do warnings, we say this, we say that, and I don't like taking people to court to do this, but, you know, it's something that we have to do unfortunately sometimes, so.
Well, Cindy said some of it's cleaned up, so maybe it won't be 5,100, maybe it'll only be half or,
Yeah, right,
you know,
so, but still,
Right.
it's. So anyhow,
did you say not to exceed 5,100?
yep,
Okay.
we can do that. We better do roll call, it's a court order. Roll call, please.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Burchard.
The motion passes. Phew. Board member comments. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm doing fabulous, and it hasn't started to rain yet.
That's right. It's not gonna, we're gonna get home.
Hope everybody had a great Labor Day. Thanks for coming out today. That's all I got.
That's all?
That's it.
Mark?
I'd like to congratulate Chief Rose and Chief Coach for a job well done during this holiday season and as well as the raft-off. I don't know what we do without you guys. Also like to congratulate Lieutenant Chapman for the Freedom of Order Information Act Assistant. Hopefully, he doesn't have to get involved with the wastewater treatment plant and their sampling.
We're saving that
That's
job.
all.
We're saving that job for somebody else.
That's all.
Maureen?
Well, thanks to Lieutenant Stockwell for stepping up, and congratulations on that. Yeah, only 9 medicals at Raft-Off, that's pretty great, out of 7,000 boats. Thanks for the pictures, too, those are amazing, and see everybody at the cleanup on the island soon. And is it our
Yeah.
next meeting on the island?
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to remind people of that, too.
Yeah, our next meeting on the island, we are having a public hearing on a special assessment on this side. And I talked to a couple people, why are you having the public hearing over there? There will be a second public hearing on that same topic following on the mainland. So I put them, you know, at ease.
So the date of the meeting is the 20th, where it's gonna be at the Lions Club?
Yep, in Lions Hall.
Lions Hall. And then I just wanted to ask about the quarterly MTA meeting.
Yeah,
That's September 22nd, right? We just respond ourselves to that?
yeah, you can, or
Tell Cindy.
tell Cindy she can set it up.
Go to that meeting, sounds good, and
Yeah, I would recommend it, actually.
I'm excited about the stamps, so I'll be there too.
Okay,
Hope everybody can make it to that.
you're gonna have some Frankenmuth chicken.
All right. I'm talking about September 21st in front of the colony,
Oh, yeah,
Stamp,
but
stamp.
at the.
at the meeting,
Yeah,
yeah.
in Frankenmuth, so.
2 events, back to back.
Yep. Chris.
No, okay,
Yeah.
chicken there.
All right. Couple things. First, the fire trucks look fantastic. They really do, and I know we tout them a lot, but, and I pray that, you know, our general public never has to see them up close. But just know this, the trucks were rigged because the chief was able to save his pennies and protect his budget. And when it came time to equip these trucks, he put the best of the best equipment on these trucks. And he did that for our citizens. And if you look at the organization, the tool cribs, the way they're rigged, everything's got a rhyme and a reason. And it's nice to see that some of the tax money gets spent back in our own community, back in our own equipment, back in our own fire department. So I'm sure I know the guys that I've talked to, they take pride, our firemen, in driving those new trucks and rigging those new trucks. So, Chief, you've done a nice job at that, and I congratulate you and the rest of the Clay Township Fire Department. Secondly, this is your bi-weekly PSA. Let's collectively slow down a little bit.
Yes.
okay?
School buses.
There is so much activity going on our roads right now. We have kids going back to school, there's people walking. I know you guys have seen the bicyclists that come by, and so they got packs. You know, they're 10, 20, 30 people strong now, right? There's golf carts, there's ORVs, there's pets, there's people walking on the shoulders. Just collectively, let's just slow down a little bit. Because a mistake and a vehicular accident could cost you the rest of your life. And specifically, I'm talking to the young people that really don't get it yet. Slow down a little bit, okay? Stay in control of your vehicle. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Chrissy?
Your friendly treasurer here to remind everyone that taxes are due a week from today, September 14th by 6 PM. North Star Bank is accepting payments on our behalf. So if you want to make a payment, let's say Friday, and the township isn't open, you can use North Star Bank.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd just like to end it up, we got so many positive things going on. You know, the stamp is way cool, that was an unexpected surprise. And they said they're working on another stamp for our bicentennial celebration. You know, our parks are moving along, both on Harson's Island and County Beach Park. I got some things going on for our park next door too, to make it a little better amenity for everybody. It's just every day, you know, positive stuff happens, and that's what motivates me. Yeah, and I'll second what Chris said. I see people driving like crazy, and I remember when I was a kid too, I drove fast a little bit, didn't you, Chris?
I did.
Yeah.
I was a knucklehead.
And then you gotta realize how much time, if I drove safe versus the way I was, am I literally saving? Maybe 38 seconds?
Seconds.
Well, I love when somebody tears around you and you get to the light.
And you beat it through. I know it. I know it.
Because they have to stop for the light and you're just coming up in the lane next to
Yeah,
them.
just go right by him.
Or you're right behind them, so they gain nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But a lot of cool stuff is happening, and we see it every day, so I just want to end the meeting on that as a good note, so.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Yep, all in favor, ayes.
Aye.
That's one thing we don't have to vote on, actually. All right.
Support for
Did,
that.